Hey everyone. I know there's only 4 listeners right now, but I'm assuming most of you will hear this on the recording, so I'm gonna go right into it. Happy Halloween if you're celebrating that out in the West. I think it's Halloween night right now out here in Asia. It's a beautiful day here in Hong Kong, 11 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to talk about something that I just had breakfast with a friend and was going over and wanted to kind of put it into public space. As I was explaining, sort of why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin SV, and despite the fact that it's at $50, and despite the fact that there's not a lot of developers, um, or even a lot of hash, uh, because I also know like people from the Ethereum community and people who are building layer twos on Ethereum, obviously they have a lot of developers, they have a lot of applications, smart contracts, etc., and a lot bigger market cap. And I think it fundamentally comes down to this headline of the space, which is today I want to talk about Bitcoin enabling the zero switching cost economy. And I like to think that in modern history, we've had 3 types of economies. One, which is not very much competition, more communism. So you think about the Soviet Union, the thing that maybe I'm portraying it, but the perception was in the Soviet Union or communist China, you had one job, you work for the state. You had one cafeteria and you like ate the same food. There wasn't a lot of choice in restaurants. Um, so that is not good. So no competition. It's a monopoly by the state and not a lot of choice. So poor quality, high prices, low efficiency. What people are so fascinated about, so happy about capitalism is the fact that you can go to McDonald's versus Burger King versus um, whatever. You can go have a phone plan with Verizon or AT&T or whatever other service provider you want to choose from, right? Sprint, I think, is another one in the US. In here in Hong Kong, there's like PCCW, there's China Mobile, there's China Unicom. Okay, are the 3 or 4 bigger ones. So you have a choice. You have Apple Cloud, Alipay, Alibaba Cloud. You have Google Cloud, and so stuff like that. But see, the thing is, you have competition. That's great, which means people have to keep the prices in line, keep the service very high, and that's good. Good. I don't think humanity has ever conceived of what my title of this post is about, which is a zero switching cost economy. So what do I mean by that? It means that like right now, if my servers are on AWS, okay, yes, I like the fact that there's competition, and there's, I can switch away. But if I wanted to use Ali Cloud, which is made by Alibaba, I'd actually have to take my data out of AWS and move it to Ali Cloud. If someone offered me a phone plan that was a better deal, I'd actually have to end the contract, right? You know how there's like all this like FCC or whatever laws and different regulators that prevent phone companies now from like locking you into a 2-year contract. They have to give you the right to like keep your number and switch it and things like that. I don't know how that's going out everywhere in the world, but you still have to literally apply and give notice to one phone provider and say, I would like to terminate my phone plan and go to another phone provider. Okay. Which means that you still have to do the switching yourself. Okay. And now let's bring it to the blockchain example. On Ethereum, on layer twos, on different things like that, because they were not able to have no switching cost, what ended up happening was you use Ethereum, then then yes, it's great that there's competition and they call it decentralization and whatever. Like any developer can now build a new layer two. You have to now move your ETH over to um, a layer two, like a base or like another thing like Scroll or another thing like Polygon, etc. And keep on you. It's on you to keep on switching. So it's a blockchain representation of the current world economy, which is great that you have so many restaurants that you can choose from. Um, but you have to switch. Okay. What what Bitcoin does for the first time in the world is the equivalent of you having a phone number, and anyone that wants to provide you a better rate in terms of a data plan, like oh, you get now 5 Gs of data for $6. You just automatically enroll in the lowest cost carrier without ever calling one of them, signing a contract with one of them, and switching between phone plans. And anyone is able to provide you this service, okay? That world is capitalism we've never seen. It's a capitalism that is not end user choosing to switch. It's the service providers competing with each other while you don't do anything. That is what BSV is, okay? And we've never seen that level of efficiency. So actually, that is Satoshi's greatest accomplishment. Is he provided a way where I just own the Bitcoin. You want a fork? Great, I have all forks. You want to switch miners and get boot off the CPUs? Great, now the GPUs is mining for me, or the ASICs is mining for me. And now we're seeing that on an application level where all your stuff on HODL or HODLocker can be used by any interface. And you don't have any switching cost. You have your 12 words, right? Whether today you're using Relay or something else, like it's all going to be there. You don't have to switch any of your infrastructure, right? You don't have to move it to another wallet. Like you just use, if you think of your 12 words as a wallet, you're like all set, right? And with that no switching cost, perfect competition, that is why I think I was talking to my friend Joe today. You feel so free. You don't feel like you have to work at a certain company. You don't feel like you have to live at a certain city. You don't feel like you have to wear certain branded clothes or drive a certain car, because like you literally have an ownership in a piece of like humanity forever. Like there's nothing, there's no other flex. Like there's no other flex that's gonna be bigger than locking behind a signal. There's no other flex. You are your own flex, right? You basically can tell people this is what I prefer in the world. This is what I like to do in the world. And you are your own brand. You don't need to be part of the Nike brand. You know what I mean? Like, so because of this like zero switching economy, it is one more level of leapfrog. It's not just because we're on chain or using the blockchain. Because if you use the blockchain, but you still have to switch between, different layers and different whatever chains, then you haven't escaped. You just replaced the technology with a new technology, but you haven't switched the architecture design of the economy. This is a fundamental third design from communism to kind of capitalism, where people compete, but you have to switch yourself, to now they compete with each other. You stay still. That's a level of servicing the user that the world has never seen. And no system works like that. And the fact that Vitalik needs other people to build L2s and raise money from VCs and launch L2s to scale his project means like the core design of Ethereum is flawed, and full stop, and will never be fixed. Because at some point, 3 years from now, the L2 will be blocked, and we have to build an L3, another L2, because that's great. That's the traditional capitalism, which is just competing with each other. But the amount of switching for the user is like not competitive versus what BSV will offer. So I'll stop there and see if anyone wants to chat.